Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Necroonomicon variation of the Brewing Labs. For this episode, we're actually going to be playing a deck that is mostly a Grixis Reanimator shell, designed primarily around Patchwork Crawler. For those who don't know, Patchwork Crawler is a 2-mana 1/2 zombie horror that has 2 and a blue to exile a target creature card from our graveyard. We put a +1/+1 counter on the Crawler. But most importantly, it will have all the activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with it. So it's kind of like our own self-inflicted necrotic ooze for those who are more familiar with it in the commander space. So the deck I decided to go around with is more making a Grixis Reanimator shell that has still a lot of nifty activated abilities. So we're going to go through the deck just real quick. Of course, our 1-drops, we have Shambling Gas as well as Voldaren Epicure. This is mostly just to get a cheap 1-drop that we can either chump block with or use for sacrifice outlets like for Deadly Dispute, stuff like that. But mostly this is there to also generate the blood token, which helps us with our Reanimator package because we can discard creatures we're planning to reanimate very easily into the graveyard using the blood token. But we can also use the blood tokens with Blood Type Harvester that also generates blood tokens, but can also be a sorcery speed removal that can remove indestructible creatures, which is very, very nice. We're also running Hunt the Specimens just to give ourselves a learn package as well as other creatures we can sacrifice and such for value. And also gives us access to our Lesson sideboard, which has 2 Mascot Exhibitions, 1 Introduction to Annihilation, 1 Past Summonings, 1 Necrotic Fumes, 1 Teaching of the Archaics, and 1 Environmental Science. Then, in our free drop slot, we also have Cody, which seems a little bit awkward to put in this Grixis Reanimator shell. But one nifty synergy here is, since we do have some reanimated spells, such as Return Upon the Tide, and some control spells, such as the Hunt the Specimen, stuff we could draw with the Lesson package, as well as Prismari command, we can actually use Cody to more or less cast our reanimated spell and get at least 2 the free mana worth of value back. Also, this is a very nifty card to actually exile with Patchwork Crawler, because then Patchwork Crawler will have this nifty little activated ability that can essentially ramp for mana, give spell cascade, with the catch that it doesn't have to have the cost of you not being able to cast permanent spells. That is a very, very nice synergy for this deck. Then in our 4-drop slots, we do include a few creatures that have nifty activated abilities, such as Onje, Maid of Dishonor, another good blood token generator, but also just has a nifty, just activated ability to sacrifice another creature or blood token. Each one loses 2 life, and we're going to gain 2 life. That can be very nifty to put on Patchwork Crawler sometimes, because this will get removed. Mostly because this is a very, very scary threat, especially when it allows to... Since we have a very good portion of vampires within our deck list, it does allow us to generate more blood tokens, which could be used to sack and gain more life and such. But also, keep in mind, we can exile with Patchwork Crawler to help finish off games. One of the better cards to exile with Patchwork Crawler, though, is Imstern Predator, just a 4-mana free flyer. Pretty much it has the activated ability that we have sacrifice another creature and give it indestructible, and then we tap it. Very, very nifty with Patchwork Crawler. It's just giving our creature semi-indestructible, that is very, very good. Being able to protect our very buffed Patchwork Crawler with some nifty activated abilities. Then one of our reanimated spells that we have in the deck is Carter's Vicious Return, just a very good multi-step saga, just being able to deal free damage to anything if we sacrifice something, aka the reason why we have a lot of sacrifice fodder early in our deck design. Being able to do that, and then each player discards a card, we can discard one of our reanimated pieces, and then we can return a target creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield. We put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until next turn. Very, very nifty, especially with some of our late-game reanimated targets. Then, of course, our other reanimated spell is Return Upon the Tides, just a very powerful reanimated spell. We can foretell it, make it cost 4. We are not really taking advantage of the Elf Warrior token shenanigans, though, if you want to, you could probably splash a 1 or 2 of Masquerade Netzes, though I would say don't really do that. You're just doing this to get the really good reanimated spell. Then, some of the creatures that we can reanimate later is, for 1, drawn at the Last Blood Chief. I always like to at least include this at least in some reanimated deck lists, because it does have the nifty ability that when it attacks to make our opponent choose a non-legendary creature. We have a lot of non-legendary creatures in our early drops, including our Patchwork Crawler, which then becomes a vampire, which is pretty cool, it's not gonna lie. So being able to return it, get a +1/+1 counter, very, very nice. We also have Asmodeus the Archfiend, technically, we're not really wanting to reanimate this. We can if we need to. But mostly we're doing this because it's really good with Patchwork Crawler. For those who don't know, pretty much if we exile this with Patchwork Crawler, then we have the activated ability of draw 7 cards without the cost of the Binding Contract, which is very good. Drawing 7 cards without having to be in a semi-exile land and hope that Asmodeus doesn't get removed, that's very good. Also, another creature that's also technically a reanimated spell as well, Olivia Crimson Bide, being able to reanimate creatures as long as we control Legendary Vampire, very good, and also the Batter's tapped and attacking, very good. We have a 2 of Tots Roll the Corrosive, mostly just because it's a good against kind of like tap token-based lists or just go wide lists in general. Being able to more or less make our opponent's board go down further and further and then get the slug tokens, which can give us more sacrifice fodder to either for Tots Roll herself to draw cards or just to give our creatures indestructible, etc., or even for Andre Maid of Dishonor, etc., etc. And then, as a one-of in the list that's a little bit of splash of Gagari, it's Beljos Widowbloom. Mostly just, this is just a fun one to reanimate because it gives us a bunch of pest tokens, which gives us sacrifice fodder. As well as it does have the cool little activated ability to pay 10 life, to untap all lands you control, activate only once each turn. If this does go to the graveyard and you don't have any Reanimator, but you have a Patchwork Crawler, and you would need the extra mana for random reasons whatsoever, you can exile it and then get the activated ability of Beljos Widowbloom, just paying 10 life to more or less get some shenanigans. So, that is the list primary from non-lands. Our land base, though, is free Temple of the Dragon Queens. We have a few bit of dragons in the deck, so that works. We have 2 Haunted Ridge. We pretty much have all the pathways within the Grixis Color Pie. We have 2 of each of the chill lands, such as Haunted Ridge, Storm-Carved Coals, Shipwreck Marsh within the Grixis Color Pie, as well as just 1 of each basic. And that is the deck. Let's actually see how this does on ladder. Shall we? That we shall. There we go. Let's see. Celestial Elixir. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Alright, starting hand. Not amazing, but not bad. So we're going to keep. Though the Andre does help the hand out a lot now, so I'm going to turn to Hunt Specimens, go get an Environmental Science just to ramp, so looks like our opponent's playing some snow shenanigans. Well, I will admit I wasn't expecting a Vault Key. I didn't. Okay, that might change our plans just a little bit. They decided to go get the Reanimator. Makes sense. Yep, fumes. Okay, fair enough, opponent. I will... That play is interesting. I will give you credit on that. Yeah, I think here we just play the Hunt for Specimens for Environmental Science, just for ramp. Then next turn, we could just play the... Okay, Sedgemoor Rich Shenanigans. Well, lucky enough we got the card just for that. We will take the life. Whew. That could have been a little bit silly if that was left on the battlefield. Okay, some zombie action. We're gonna put this in the graveyard. And we're gonna see what our opponent's next play is. One creature card in the graveyard. We'll take the 1 damage, just presuming... Since I think there is still instant speed way to give creatures Death Touch, so... We don't really want to... Or that. There we go. Actually, that's perfectly fine for us. Because what we're going to do is just, well, return Drana. With a little bit of a boost. Wait. Non-legendary creature. Ah. I forgot about that. Little claws. Well, here we're going to play a few of these. I'm going to do this. Go get the last that. Play that for his land for turn. And see what else is cooking on our opponent's field. Okay, we can at least try it, show off a little cheeky thing we can do. First things first, we're going to exile this with the
no, my boy!
Ability here.
Father hell!
We're going to sacrifice at least one of these to throw this into the graveyard. And then we can just activate Anju's ability. We'll sacrifice this, because why not? We're going to get a little drain from it. Then we are going to attack in. Our opponent chooses a vampire of their preference. They're going to get pinged a point of damage. Ooh, Loaf. Okay, that's a good card.
You reek with terror.
But I think we got this. I think, because all we have to do is just, well... Yeah, just attack in like that.
Aren't I generous?
And, well, sacrifice a blood token. Sacrifice a blood token. Our opponent needs to top deck a very specific spell. Oh, that's perfect.
Tell you a secret.
Oh. Because here, all we have to do is just sacrifice a blood token, drain our opponent, see what tricks our opponent has up their sleeve. Then we just play Carter's Vicious Return. Sacrifice this. They do gain a life, but that's not enough for Inferi Lethal. Yes! Oh, now that was a good showing. The Patchwork Crawler winning a game, especially with the exiling Anji. Yes! Sometimes a zombie, all it needs to be is just a second vampire. And aren't zombies in a roundabout way just vampires that don't feast on blood but brains, if we're going with the John Romero Night of the Living Dead 2 logic? Okay, don't think too hard about it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Decent hand. I definitely am keeping this. Got a turn 1 play, turn 2 play. Ooh, our opponent's doing vampire shenanigans, eh? Well, let us bring some more vampires to the party, shall we? Make it kind of like that scene in Blade where it's like the dance club with vampires. I wonder if any of my audience remembers Blade. Well, this is probably a combat trick. Yeah, let's see the combat trick, opponent. No combat trick. Okay. Ah, I see what you did there. Okay. That's coy, not gonna lie. That's a little coy. Here we're going to go get environmental sciences, and we're probably going to toss the king into the graveyard to get some card draw soon. Well, here, we're just going to chump block. Get a little bit of life. Another Steiner, eh? A lot of Steiners. Okay. Well, in that case... Pit Fighter. Makes sense. Judging by this brew, this is probably the brew that also runs the Socialite. So, we need to be a little bit cautious, is just all I'm going to say here. Anyway, I'm going to see how the opponent buffs their team up here. Okay. I'm going to try to draw some removal. They did not. Perfect. Okay. Here... let's draw some more spells. Use the blood token to see if we can draw into something. Not yet, but soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could actually just cast that really soon. So, that's a stay tuned, as the saying goes. Ooh, that's a good card. Sure, I'm not gonna block. Our opponents say whether or not they want to... Yep, they're going to discard some cards, draw some cards. Make some blood tokens. Okie dokie, artichoke. Well, here we can actually discard this manland here. Pathway, technically. Okay. I don't really sense any reanimated strategies within this opponent's deck design, at least. I'm not getting that vibe. Yeah, especially since they're playing stuff like Reckless Stormseeker, this feels like more of a aggro deck. Maybe with some hard removal here or there. Well, I'm not going to say I was not right on that. That was a little bit of a miscalculation. What did they return, though? 5 damage. We'll take it, because we have to. But, here's a giant slug. And the best part is, the reason why I kind of wanted to put Imstorm Predator and the slug within the same deck design is because we can now keep our Imstorm Predator protected by sacrificing the slugs. Really what we're missing now is just a really good Patchwork Crawler play, but let's see if our opponent has the heavy removal for Tots roll at the moment. Our opponent's definitely in the thinking mode. Okay, they're going into the draw mode. They'll probably see if they're going to try to draw some hard removal. A little bit more. Let's see. Can I get direct removal? Okay. They are desperate. Did they draw it? The answer is no. Well, we'll block. Yeah, we'll actually just block here. We'll just sacrifice one of the slugs to get this indestructible. Slash also use it as graveyard hate to hate out one of these. They do get some blood, though. And, honestly, I'm just going to draw cards and create a treasure token, so boop, boop. We don't really need a second one, so actually, we'll keep the second one, because then we can let this enter untapped. Revealing the Imstorm Predator, we'll just say black. Because what I'm just going to do here is just draw some cards. Damn it, no Patchwork Crawler. Well, here we're going to take out the Olivia. Here. Here. And our opponent needs to top deck like a board wipe. Okie dokie. Well, they're gonna remove that. And, GG. They're going to... Okay, that was a good win. That kind of shows the synergy of Imbister and Predator and the Tots roll combo. Okie dokie. This should be an interesting match. Let's see what shenanigans they are going to provide. Okay, let's take a look at our hand. Not great, but we do have a turn-turn Blood type Harvester to deadly dispute it. Our opponent's going first, so we could draw into more gas. Hopefully not any lands. Okay, I would consider that gas, so we're going to play that. Looks like potentially Orzhov control for our opponent is just a hunch. No, discard. Sure, we will discard an Asmodeus. That actually is helping our gameplay out, opponent. I appreciate that. Okay. So going discard, I do kind of want to get the teaching of the Archaics here. Because I think I'm going to have a hunch that we're going to have a hand lesser than our opponent pretty soon. We'll block here. Gain some life. Yep, definitely the discard shenanigans. Wedding announcement. Okay. I think here the play is we're going to foretell this because our opponent's going to inevitably flip that, and I would rather have it where we are in good position, so to speak. There's the transformation. Okay, opponent, what do you want us to discard? The removal makes sense. Here, I'm just going to block here and see if they have a combat trick up their sleeve. Ooh. Yes, I wanted you really badly. Okay, we're going to play you. And we're going to just pass the turn. Pass the turn. Make ourselves unassuming as possible. Okay, more discard. Fair enough, opponent. Fair enough. That's not going to matter soon, though. That's not going to matter whatsoever. Okay, well, I gotta do this now. Doop. If our opponent has the Blood Cheese first, they have it, but if they don't, we're gonna draw 7 cards. Though I do have to admit, Go Blank is a very good card against us. Especially since we're more in the Reanimator deck. Okay, no Blood Cheese first. Yes! Okay! Well, now we're gonna draw 7 cards.
I'm a real Gristlebrand.
Oh, that felt so good. Oh, my. That was awesome. Okay. So, I mean, we don't really have an incentive to attack. Our opponent does have an incentive to remove this if they have the chance. Even if we don't win this game, just the factor that we showed up that Patchwork Crawler can do cheeky stuff like that. As the phrase goes, content. I am... Wedding announcement number 2. Fair enough. There's the removal. That is fair. But we already got, I believe as the phrase goes, a good deal. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. It's a little bit cheeky, but follow me here. We're gonna do this. We're going to do this. That still leaves us... this. We're gonna play Cody. Oh boy, that's scary. Here, we're just going to block like this, block like that. Okay, time to do some math. So first, we're going to activate this. Then we're going to reanimate this, reanimating the Olivia from the graveyard. Get a Prismari command. That is good. And the nifty synergy here is we can return Drana. That actually shows a really cool synergy here, so... let's see our opponent blocks. They're going to block there. Makes sense. In that case, we're going to do this. And create a treasure or draw 2 cards. I think we do the draw here. Yep, I'm for sure. We don't mind. We'll discard a land. And we'll discard land, because we're really good on the meta already. And since Cody doesn't help us now, since we don't have instant sorcery spells, we're going to do that. We're going to hunt for specimens, go get a mascot exhibition, and we're just going to play a Vardarian Epicure, because why not? Well, in that case, we'll go do this, because, like I said, Go Blank is a good card against us. But we still have a pretty good board presence. If I do say so myself. And who knows, maybe we can draw into a Tots roll, and then we can just reanimate it with Drana, or at least force reanimate it. Though will admit, our opponent has a very good Orzhov kind of like control token shell. This is one that I always consider playing for FNMM, but I'm kind of playing this Jund Reanimator build that I'm actually kind of having a blast with. It's not like the most powerful deck, but I do like the interactions with it. I kind of inspired a little bit of my brew based off this. Oh, that was a good play. That's annoying. But that was a good play. Okay, we can take the 2 here for now. We're going to discard that. We don't need the land. Predator, thank you! And here's something cheeky. We're going to do this now. Just to remove the Regent so they don't reanimate it. Because then what we can do is attack, they're forced to return the vampire with a counter on it. And get ourselves a blood token. That's what I'd call a little bit of value. Well, there's vampire number 2. If we take the sits, then we can attack. That is... I would rather gain the life here, actually, so... Yet again, we're going to discard this land, try to draw into some value. Okay. Going to have to full control on this, but... And then we discard this, try to draw into some more value. That is value, believe it or not. Makes sense for them to deal with that. Then we play Patchwork Crawler, and I don't... Oh yeah, we do actually have 1 bit of blue mana, so... Let's see, anything with activated abilities? No. But I do think I am going to exile this Drana from my graveyard because they have Go Blanks in their deck, and I would rather get this chunky, let's just say. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be a chump blocker here. Because, yeah, they try to swing in with everything, which they're probably not going to do, because they will die, if that's the case. Well, presuming they don't have removal. So, yeah, they're going to swing in with that, which I find intriguing. That tells me they either have another flyer coming, or... I mean... You gotta show me the trick, opponent. That's the trick. Okay, I forgot about the manland. That's well played. I think we are dead here. Though that was a really good game. So close. That is definitely going to be gameplay to show off some of the shenanigans that Patchwork Crawler can do, so awesome sauce for that. Well, I hope you all enjoyed seeing this list go off. I do have to admit, I had a lot of fun brewing this, and it's definitely fun to brew around this really janky card. If there are cards I would recommend to consider for the list, if you want to, it depends on kind of like what the package you want to go with. Mostly, I would say if you're going into the Reanimator based shell, mostly maybe a few more Reanimator spells. There's even some stuff where you could also incorporate more of the Blood package, and there's even some activated abilities that I didn't include within the deck, but they are kind of fun to have. Like, for example, if you want to go into more like a Simic list, you could have Cosmo the Cosmic Serpent, have the Masquerade Nexus, and then have it where you can just sacrifice a Serpent to keep this indestructible. Stuff like that. Maybe even go into like party-based lists with Lavinia and such. Like, there are a few ways you can go around it. Other than that, you could also incorporate some more early game removal if you want to feel like you want to go into more of a control Grixis shell. You know all the good early game removal, the Blood Cheese first, the essentially that, maybe even some duresses to help us against control matchups. It's definitely something to consider in a best of free iteration of this list if you want to. There is also stuff like, let's see, I always forget the 2-cost spells. There's stuff like Feed the Swarm against enchantments, Flunk. We all know the good 2-cost removal. We could even put Graph Lever in here. Another card you could consider for the deck regarding to activated abilities is, if I recall correctly, if it works, there we go. Forsworn Paladin is also not a bad one, especially if you go into more of a ramp shell. Just being able to tap our Patchwork Crawler to gain a life, or pay a life to create a treasure token. Very nice on the Paladin itself. That's also another good 1-drop we can incorporate in the deck, as well as just chump with Patchwork Crawler to have that activated ability when it can come in handy, or even the secondary activated ability, which is also another one that, with how our deck works, can come in handy. It barely made the cut since I did one of the Pro more Shambling Geist in there and the Voltarian Epicure, but you can probably cut out the Shambling Geist for the Forsworn Paladins if you want to kind of like go with that approach. Maybe even an Eden Alive, you could probably take advantage of Eden Alive, especially since we have a lot of token generation in this list. There's definitely a lot of fun approaches you can do with this deck design. Nevertheless, I hope you all had a lovely day, and I hope you enjoyed this fine quality of necromantic jank. Nevertheless, as stated before, Alchemy should be coming or already been out by the time of this video. That's what caused the frogs to delay.
Hey everyone, it's Crow here. I'm kind of barging in on Lev's video, which was a lot of fun to watch, as well as, do my funny little edits. As you might have known, if you follow Lev's channel at all, the frog video that he's talking about right now from Alchemy came out however many weeks ago. The holidays in terms of retail work has been very strenuous, so I've been behind on edits, and I think that this is the first time that I have actually spoken about it. Between that and losing my voice because I was sick in the first time for almost 2 years, a lot's been going on, so I feel really bad when hearing this last part. Lev is an awesome content creator. He's a wonderful part of the Magic the Gathering community, and it's my absolute honor and pleasure to call him a friend. So I just wanted to apologize to him and to all of you for having this video come out a lot later than we as content creators would like it to come out. I hope that you continue to give both him and me kind of like a chance while we still try to gear everything up. Obviously, I'll have him clear this part with me if he wants to keep it in or not. But yeah, just letting you know that I'm sorry for kind of taking a hiatus from both editing and content creation. Anyways, enjoy the tail end of this video. If you haven't already, subscribe, because Lev is awesome. He does amazing giveaways, he creates amazing content, and he engages with so many creators. So I hope if you're listening to this, you give him a chance. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you on the next upkeep. Peace.
Okay, so now next week we are going to have some frog-based shenanigans, let's just say. Hope you all have a lovely day. See you soon.